Hello, and welcome to a Strangelove educational video. Today, we'll be looking at text messaging and its effect on the English language.
This is Diva. She is a 9-year-old pug, and today she got her first cell phone. Diva does well in school, but is a little nervous that her new phone and texting practices will have a negative impact on her marks. She works hard for her grades, so let us do the research for her and see if she can put her mind at ease. There is no denying that the use of mobile devices has been on the rise over the past several years. According to Marissa Harrison, cellular phones have become so popular that the world's approximate 7 billion people, 6 billion have access. She compares this to the 4.5 billion who have access to operational toilets. Texting is obviously a prevalent and important mode of communication today. People have the opportunity to connect with someone else at any moment. Many receive dozens, if not hundreds, of text messages each day. Marissa examined college students' cell phone behaviors, saying participants deemed it unacceptable to text while at work or while they were supposed to be working, but 3/4 of the sample did it anyway. Further, participants agree that it's not socially acceptable to text during class, but more than 8 out of 10 students say they have done this. In these instances, participants are texting even when they know it is socially wrong or it does cause a loss, such as a distraction from entertainment one is paid for, or can cause loss, such as getting reprimanded or fired from work, or losing points or being dismissed from class. With the constant use of abbreviations and grammatical shortcuts, it is important to ask, does this increase in text messaging as social communication have an impact on our literary skills in the classroom? Are one of these losses Marissa speaks of the ability to use proper grammar? When setting out in this video, our team assumed there would be an endless amount of studies and data that proved this. Interestingly enough, some research points to an answer that is not what you might expect. So what is texting? Texting is typing a message and sending it to a friend instantly by phone or messenger app. Sarah and Nigan point out that until recently, text messages were limited in the amount of characters the sender wanted to include. They state that this limited amount of characters gave rise to abbreviated forms of language which they call textese. They say textese is unique in its use of textisms, contractions and non-standard spellings specifically developed to reduce the length of words for fast and cost-effective text messaging. They continue to say that researchers have categorized textisms as logograms, letter and number homophones, and emoticons, among others. There are many textisms out there, and they are constantly evolving and producing new ones each day. Textisms are also referred to as text speak. Drew and Shyam state that text speak is an important part of the writing process, aiding the efficiency and briefity of sending a text message, a communication platform where speed is of the utmost importance. They continued in their study that while the use of word and structural adaptations is normal, useful, and not inherently incorrect when confined to text messaging, problems do occur when these adaptations carry over into standard writing practices, especially the classroom. In their study, it shows that young adults who constantly use text speak are less likely to switch back to traditional grammar when appropriate. They explain that their findings have many implications in the classroom and that adolescents should be educated to understand the differences between text speak and standard English grammar, recognizing that there is a time and a place for both forms of communication. It is not possible to stop text speak entirely, they say, and suggest that the number of received word adaptations critically determines the number of sent word adaptations, which in turn predicts poorer grammar scores. Claire Wood's research also suggested a negative impact on grammar. Her study had 243 participants that were asked to copy all the messages that they had sent within a recent 2-day period, exactly as they had written them. The text messages were coded for the number and nature of grammatical violations that were observed. She identified 6 broad categories of text violations and concluded that there was a negative relation between texting patterns and grammar skills. Lenhart, however, disagrees with previous researchers. He found through a survey that 85% of all 12 to 17-year-olds use some form of electronic media to send messages. Interestingly, a majority of the adolescents, 60%, do not view this type of communication as real writing, with 64% of the respondents admitting to the use of informal writing style while using these forms of media. Rather than seeing text messaging as a form of writing akin to composing an essay in class, adolescents in this survey reported electronic compositions such as text messaging as being in the same category as a phone call or hallway greeting. Lenhart's research suggests that students do have the ability to separate text messaging and English language. The ability to separate text speak from academic writing is further examined in Beverly Plester's research. She asked students to translate messages from text speak to proper English and vice versa. She states that preteen children can use metalinguistic awareness to slip between one register of language and another as they deem it appropriate. Those with higher spelling scores were more likely to adopt the casual youth code language for texting, which entails using non-conventional spellings that are related to pronunciation. She suggests that it is important to be aware of the two codes of language and be able to know when to use them. She concludes that while further investigation is in order with respect to all aspects of text message literacy and standard school literacy, these early studies have shown no compelling evidence that texting damages standard English in preteens, and considerable evidence that facility with text language is associated with higher achievement in school literacy measures. What we can conclude from all this information is that texting has developed its own set of grammar and rules. It's difficult to think about your communication in the moment, as much of it happens below your radar. The research seems to show that there is no conclusive evidence either way of texting and text speak is affecting grammar skills. We tend to speak differently than how we write, and it is suggested that texting is a way of talking with your fingers. Some research even suggests that we are becoming bilingual in the way we use language in text form and written English form. So what does this mean for Diva? If she remembers to separate her academic writing from her text speak, then she should maintain her good grades, and that makes for a happy pug.